Down in the heart of that great southern peninsula, that is a state called Florida, as well as a state of mine, stands the gardens called Cyprus. That is, in fact, so pleasing to the eye that all correspondence addressed to it is filed under B for beautiful. Beautiful Cypress Gardens. Here the visitor of any age, you'll notice, may pose for pictures with the southern belles, who grace the eye-filling settings. And of course everybody, but everybody, comes camera in hand. Okay, Dad, fire two. And just one more. Wait till all the folks back home get a load of that shot. Another photographer's delight at the gardens is the almost daily queen crowning ceremony. Owner Dick Pope once crowned 9 in 7 days, his all-time record. Thank you, Your Majesty. May you have a pleasant reign. To change the subject from beauty ashore to beauty afloat, here are 3 of the aquamaids, ably escorted by 3 of the champions. And the subject is water skiing. More specifically, how to build a 6-man pyramid. Aboard this ship that's launched 1,000 faces, on the covers of the nation's magazines, are photographers to shoot from every impossible angle. That's the one sure way to an editor's heart. Give him the picture that couldn't be taken of the thing that couldn't be done. Many a special photographic boat has been used at Cypress Gardens, but this one, with its flying crosswalk 18 feet above the water, many platforms, and 35-mile-an-hour top speed, is by common consensus among the photographers themselves. Man, the living ant. Well, so far so good with the pyramid, which looks easy to build but isn't. It's strictly for experts. But there it is, the seagoing version of a very ancient architectural form. And top to bottom, an altogether handsome structure to behold. Ever since the 20s, long before they came into their own for cruising, water skiing and such, outboards have been cutting spectacular capers for the cameras on and about these blue waters of Lake Eloise. Here saluting you and passing in review are the White Angels, 4 boys and a girl, who put their craft to the test in high-performance team maneuvers, much as their military counterparts, the Navy's Blue Angels, do up in the wild blue yonder. And the accent is on precision driving. No daredevils allowed. Okay, Angels, let's fly. For a warm-up, some wake jumping. So much for the wide open spaces out there in mid-lake. Now for the serpentine curves of their own private obstacle course. Matched outfits these, capable of split-second maneuverability, that's safe when properly handled. And do they go with those new Seahorse 40s supplying the power? Uh-oh, fasten your seatbelts. Here we go again. Anyone for follow the leader? That's what you do when you run out of channel. You break trail, then say a little prayer of thanks if you've still got a bottom in your boat. All present and accounted for. Angels aren't supposed to gamble, so the White Angels worked out this cleaned-up version of the numbers game. A tight, well-defined figure 8. nothing wrong with their mathematics, except they figure almost too close for comfort. From here, it's just a hop, skip, and a jump to the course finish line. So they string out, fly low, and head for home. Might say, is logging flying time the hard way, and more shock treatment for an outboard in one session than most have to take in a lifetime. And they still have to establish a beachhead, which they do, in a 5-way photo finish. Thank you, Angels, for that great exhibition of precision driving and a very thrilling performance. The vast natural waterfront amphitheater, where the famous Cypress Gardens water ski shows are presented, is also where many an awkward neophyte has worked and splashed and struggled to emerge finally a champion, coached perhaps by Dick Pope Jr. here, himself many times the title holder, and innovator of one of the most remarkable tricks ever attempted, skiing barefoot. And for the benefit of any possible doubting Thomases, who better than U.S. national champ Mike Osborne to prove that it can be done? Number one problem is to get up on top, and he elects to try the running beach takeoff method, meaning no skis, even to help him overcome initial water resistance. And that takes full power at both ends of the tow line, because this boy is no lightweight. He probably scales in at pretty close to 180. And he's every ounce the champion. Just one thing, though. Once you get up, how do you get down? Well, ask a silly question. Or how about this for a fresh approach? Now, this seemingly backward boy is not really that way at all. Well, he is, but he isn't, if you know what I mean, and I sure don't. Anyway, his name is Randy Rabe, and he's figured out not only how to ski barefoot, but how to ski barefoot backwards, like snow. Of course, he may not know where he's going, but he for sure knows where he's been. Never satisfied, this boy. Now he's trying to master it on one foot. Meanwhile, let's just say he walks on water backwards and let it go at that. Already an old hand at tournament competition at age 21 is Miss Nancy Rideout, U.S. national champion and winner at one time or another of just about every top honor in the water ski book. And this is a repeat of one of two trick rides that helped her in the successful defense of her title in the last Nationals. The idea is to string together a combination of tricks in the allotted 20 seconds that will yield a winning point total. And that's the trick ride as she should be rode by champion Nancy Rideout. A second event of tournament competition, and perhaps the most spectacular one, is jumping. Here goes Buster McCullough. And he is, as they say, like way out. Buster uses the military style. Ramrod straight in midair. Stiff-kneed when he lands. Beautiful. Last time out, he tied for the U.S. jumping title and won the Worlds at Milan, Italy. Easy to see why. Again, he cracks the whip across the wake, rifles toward the ramp, and takes off like a great big bird. Man in flight, that's Buster McCullough. If jumping is spectacle, then slalom, the one remaining type of tournament event, is poetry. The poetry of motion, as the skier enters the course, then swings rhythmically, gracefully, in great sweeping arcs from side to side. This master of the slalom art is Simon Curry of Lebanon, a long-time top-ranking skier in both the U.S. and Europe. He has buoy number 6 and a successful first run. Tournament procedure calls for a return trip through the course, and he's in his approach. Through the gate now, cutting hard for that first buoy, and really lays into it. 1 down, 5 to go. The boat is doing about 34 miles an hour on this run, but Simon is hitting top speeds up to 55 or 60, and that's moving. That's possible partly due to the flat wake of the outboard and down not at all. Well, he's got 5. He's got 6 for a perfect round trip, and that sure looks like fun. For a fine demonstration, thank you, Simon Curry. For the tourist, Cypress Gardens is a many-splendored place, demanding to be recorded on film, perhaps to prove to yourself when you get back home that it really does exist and wasn't just a trick of the imagination. Well, it's real, all right. Pinch one of these crinoline beauties if you want to prove it, but be prepared to duck. She'll react pretty much like the girl next door. What most visitors don't realize, though, is that all this eye-appealing and soul-satisfying loveliness was fashioned out of a very unlovely swamp by a man who didn't know an azalea from a zinnia, Mr. Richard Downing Pope. For the magic transformation he performed, a word-gifted newsman bestowed upon him the title Swami of the Swamp, and it stuck. There are 3,000 varieties of plants, some strange and exotic, brought here from all corners of the earth. And yet in some of its hidden reaches, the memory of that swamp primeval lingers on, resisting man. What is a peninsula? It is a Florida-shaped body of swimming pool, almost entirely surrounded by water, Lake Eloise. The pool and these tropic isles of movie land were constructed to provide suitably glamorous settings for the many feature films and short subjects made at the gardens. An idyllic calm prevails. Except, of course, when the skiers invade the islands in these flibbers and engage in one of their favorite free-time pastimes, outboard water polo. 2 teams, striped shirts will defend the goal to your left. The Reds, this one on the right. Okay, let's have at it. Reds on the offensive now. Watch it, Stripe. Fighting for possession, anything goes except hair pulling in the clinches. Red's ball again, this time trying to run it around right end. The Stripes save, but get a little damp around the edges. The unusual-looking boats they're using are made of fiberglass, very light, and they turn on the proverbial dime. The motors are Seahorse 10s. Paul, they're not about to lose it in the rough. Well, now, it's nice to see a girl who uses her head. Better get moving, Red. They mean business. Red's on the run, fighting for their lives. Oop, the girl overboard almost. Stripes threatening now, deep in enemy territory. Uh-oh. Bad break, Stripes. Anybody's ball again. It is. It is. It is finally. So the stripes finally wrap it up, and that's the ball game, and that's outboard water polo.
Now, if you'll direct your attention out toward the ramp and the left of it, you'll see three of our champions, readying for the first of several aerobatic maneuvers off the big red ramp. They're traveling very fast, and up they go. A perfect double jump by Buster McCullough and Mike Osborne, with Sandy crossing under them while they were in midair. And that's called the over-under.
One of the most durable and certainly most popular public entertainments, on or off the water, is this Cypress Gardens 4-a-day water ski show. It has had some 16,000 consecutive performances and been viewed by more than 30 million people. That particular brand of spectacular action is only champions can provide it. Helped win the plaudit, greatest show on water.
Thank you, champions, for a fine performance on the high jump. Now, for those of you with cameras, may we suggest the photographer's pier as a likely vantage point from which to record on film the highlights of the show. Please stay clear of the rail, however, as the skiers sometimes pass very close. Ladies and gentlemen, the beloved in the traditional and colorful parade of the water skiers. The Aquamaids welcome you and they salute you. The Water Skiers salute. Now, as you see, we have our Aquamaids, and they're lovely. But we also have our Aquamaniacs, and they're ridiculous. Any resemblance to water skiing is purely a mistake. That gentleman on the pier, please stand well back from the railing. That gentleman on the pier, please stand well back from the railing. Come on in, Aquamaids. It isn't safe out there. They'll be back, ladies and gentlemen, the Aquamaniacs. But right now, going from the ridiculous...
One of the most recent daredevil stunts in water skiing has probably Ben Franklin turning over in his grave. In his day, kite flying was never like this. About to go into orbit here is champion Simone Curry. towboat maneuvers him into the wind, then pours it on. And he's airborne, gaining altitude, still climbing. And then at about 100 feet, he levels off, which is about as high as a man ought to fly without a parachute. So at the Gardens, at least, when somebody tells you to go fly a kite, this is what they have in mind. Coming into the approach for his landing, the towboat gradually eases off on the throttle, and he settles down to a perfect two-point landing. And that, you might say, is another of man's conquests of the air, Simon Curry, the human kite. Well, look what we've got here. I've heard of gambling casinos aboard ship, but a floating poker game? What's more, it looks like the game is about to be pinched. John Law himself. Hey, fellas, cheese at the cops. Pretty smart. In case of a raid, just crash dive the game. Better head for the hills, men, and give up this life of crime. It just doesn't pay.
Our next act will be started from the famous Esther Williams Pool, constructed here at Cypress Gardens during the filming of the Hollywood picture Easy to Love. Ladies and gentlemen, Cypress Gardens takes pleasure in presenting the original Aqua Ballet.
Coming out of the pool and making a dramatic entrance to the waters of Lake Eloise is the star performer, Willa McGuire. And this is a special, a one-time command appearance of the sport's prima ballerina.
But today our star is another queen of water sports, Willa McGuire, 7 times U.S. national champion, 3 times world champion of water skiing. Okay, Willa.
The original Aqua Ballet. They dance on the world's smallest stage, the single ski.
A memorable display of beauty, timing, and coordination on the single ski by Willa McGuire and the Aquamaids in the Aqua Ballet.
Amen to that, and the fitting climax to our visit to B for beautiful Cypress Gardens and the greatest show on water. Oh, before you go, how about just one more, huh?